Everyone, so welcome back to LeetCode with AK. I'm Aravind here. So guys, actually today we are going to see the one of your art problem in a LeetCode, but it was tagged as a art. But don't worry, guys. Actually, I'm here to make it look easy. So please stick with me till the end. If you skip the video, definitely you will miss some interesting part. So you won't get some conclusion at the end. So please try to stick with me till the end. Don't skip the video. Try to watch that video completely, because once you watch that completely, definitely you will get to know about all the gray areas as well as some edge cases. So definitely the problem will made us easy. So please stick with me till the end. Without wasting time, let's move on to this problem statement. Actually, the problem statement is put marbles in the bag. It's a LeetCode 2551. So you have a k bags as well as there is a weight array. The weight of I is representing the weight of ith marble. So what they are trying to say, so they are giving two inputs. One is the bags, another one is the weight. The weight is array, so the ith value of weight array is representing the ith marble weight. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to divide the marble into k bags. Okay, but they are giving some constraint. So what is the constraint? No bag is empty. So which means, so suppose if you are giving the three bag, definitely you have to give some distribution, the marble distribution to all three bags, but definitely none of the bags should be empty. All the bags should be occupied. Okay, if ith and jth marble are in the bag, then all marble with index between ith and j, the index should also be in the same bag. So which means, let's say if you're this is I and this is j. Okay, if you are adding this I and j to bag, in that case all the marbles between index I and j between to this particular bag. So that is what they are trying to say in the second point. So what we have to do, we have to figure out the difference between minimum and maximum score among the marble distribution. So what about the score among the marble distribution? Let's move on to this problem statement. I will tell you. Okay, let's say actually I have a weight array as well as I have a two bags. So I have to do the marble distribution. So first I have to worry about no bags should be empty. So definitely I have to split my weight array into two parts. If I'm splitting my weight into two part, definitely my all of the bag should not be empty. So definitely all my bag have some contribution. Okay, let's say if I'm doing partition over here, so what is the partition pair? 1 3 3 5 1. So this is one of the partition pair. What about if I am doing partition over here? So what is the partition pair now? 1 3 5 and 1. What if I'm doing partition over here? 1 3 5 1. So shall I do partition over here? Definitely not. If I doing partition over here, then definitely you are violating this constraint. So since I am worrying about this constraint, I can't able to partition at the end. So if you closely look at this partition pair, okay, totally how much partition pairs are available? 3 pairs. What is the size of the weight array? 4. Okay, the size of the weight array is 4. The possible partition pair are 3. Okay, so what about if the size of the weight array is n, then how much the possible partition pair is available? N minus 1, right? This is the very first hint. Actually, I got the n minus 1 possible pairs are available. The where n is representing for the size of the weight array. Okay, if you closely looking at this part, the partition pair, now you got the second hint also. So in the very first the pair, you have the first value as well as you have the last value. You have the first value as well as you have the last value. So all of the possible pairs, the first and last value is definitely presenting over there. It was clearly telling if you have n minus 1 partition possible partition, in all partition possible pairs, definitely your first and last value should be there. Okay, so that is the second is actually I am getting this one. Okay, what is the minimum and maximum score? What I are trying to say, actually you have to calculate the minimum value as well as the maximum value. Try to figure out the difference between minimum and the maximum value. Okay, if you closely looking at this one, what is the minimum and maximum value? 1 on 1. So 1 plus 1 equal to 2. So for 3 3 5 1, what is the minimum value? What is the minimum value? The minimum value is 1. what is the maximum value? 5. But why they are not taking 5? If you are taking 3 comma 5 comma 1, which means if you are taking 3 comma 5 comma 1, which means all the values between this I and j presenting over this bag. So you have to take this as 3 1. So which means all the values between 3 and 1 is presenting over to the bag. So what is the minimum and maximum value from this array? So minimum and maximum, the minimum value is 1 and the maximum value is 3. So which means 4. Okay, 4 plus 2 equal to 6. And what is the next possible? Okay, I will come to this part. What is the minimum and maximum value? 1 plus 1. So 1 plus 1 become 2. What is the minimum and maximum value? 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3 equal to 4. Okay. What is the minimum and maximum value? 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 equal to 4. Minimum and maximum value equal to 1 plus 5. This is 6. What is the 1 comma 3 comma becomes 3 comma 5 becomes 1 comma 5. So what is the minimum and maximum value? The minimum value is 1 and the maximum value equal to 5. So which means 6. What is the minimum and maximum value for this one? So I have one element. So 1 is minimum, 1 is maximum. So 6 plus 2 equal to 8. So this is 6. This is 10. This is 8. Out of this, what is, we have to figure out the difference between minimum and maximum score. This is the score. This is the possible score. 6, 10, 8. What is the maximum score? 10. What is the minimum score? 6. So 10 minus 6, 4, right? So that is the answer. So that is what they are given here. The answer equal to 4 for this given input statement. Okay. So let's consider the second input. Well, actually they are giving the weight as well as k equal to 2. But what are all the possible? So they have a array size 2 as well as they are giving the bag also 2. So I don't want to violate, no bag is empty. So definitely I have to do one partition. So it consists of, let's say, if 1 comma 3, okay, if I'm doing 1 comma 3, then definitely I can do two possible partition, 1 and 3, because I have to split. I have to do partition to all of my two bags where k equal to 2. In that case, what is the minimum and maximum? 1 plus 1. Okay, what is the minimum and maximum from the minimum and maximum from 3 plus 3? In that case also 6, right? Wait. Okay, so in that case, so 1 comma 3, right? So what is the minimum and maximum value? So minimum and maximum value will be same, right? Because I have two partitions. So what this statement is clearly telling. So if you take this one 2, 1 plus, what is the minimum and maximum value? 1 plus 1, it become 2, as well as 3 plus 3, it becomes 6. Okay, this is the one partition possible pair. So since there are minimum and maximum value, both are same. Okay, both are same. Definitely the value becomes 0. So you got the third int, right? So if the weight of array is equal to k, definitely you have to return 0. So what about if k equal to 1? Let's coming to this example. What about if k equal to 1? Wait, I will just. What about if k equal to 1? If k equal to 1, definitely you have to do one partition pair. In that case, definitely your both the minimum and maximum value become same. So that is also become answer become 0. So now you got a second int, right? So if n equal to k, or if n equal to 1, then definitely you have to return 0. Then definitely you have to return source. Now you got a tag in. Okay. So every time actually what you have to do, you have to do partition. So while doing the partition, so what you are clearly doing, so if you are doing partition over here, you're taking the previous element as well as the next element. But if you're doing the partition over here, you're doing the previous element as well as the next element. Now partition is representing to the particular index. So which means you have to take the particular index as well as the next index value. If you are doing the partition over here, you have to take the particular index as well as the next index value. So now I'm writing the pseudocode for this one. So now I got a 3 int. Now I got a fourth int also. The fourth int actually, while the partition, the partition of I is representing the weight of I plus weight of I plus 1. Okay. Now I got 4 int. So the first int is first and last marble is presenting in all partition. And the second is there are n minus 1 possible pairs are available. And the third int is equal to if n equal to k. I mean the size of the array as well as the given back size equal to same, then definitely the answer becomes the 0. If n equal to 1, then definitely in that case, sorry, not n equal to 1, k equal to 1. If k equal to 1, in that case also, you're trying to put all the marbles into one bag. In that case also, the answer becomes 0. So finally, you want to calculate a partition. This is the formula for the partition. You have to include the current weight and as well as the subsequent weight to calculate the partition. Okay, let's move on to write the pseudocode for this pseudocode. Okay, I'm trying to writing the pseudocode here. Okay. First declare the partition array with size of n minus 1, where n stands for size of weight array. Okay. Then second, before that, what you have to do? You have to check if n equal to k or k equal to 1. Simply nothing to do, just return 0. Okay, that is my second int. Then finally what you have to do, you have to calculate a partition. So just iterate for I equal to 2 n minus 1. Why am I iterating n minus 1? Because the size of possible pair is n minus 1. So definitely I have to iterate array till n minus 1. On each iteration I am just taking my current index value as well as the next index value. So definitely I have to iterate my array till n minus 1 for the two reasons. One is the size of the possible pair equal to n minus 1. Then every time actually I'm taking the current index value as well as the next index value. Let's say if you are in the the last index of the array, definitely there is nothing beyond that. So in that case, you will get index out of bound error. So definitely you have to iterate I to n minus 1. Okay, if you are I to n minus 1, just calculate partition of I equal to the weight of I and then weight of I plus 1. Okay, fine. Then finally what I have to do, I have to take the difference between minimum and the maximum value. Okay, now come to this part. Okay, I have the partition in my hand. So my partition value might be differ here and there, right? So sometimes might be in some ascending order, sometimes it might be in descending order, sometimes it might not be any different, it might be in any different order. In that case, if you want to clearly get the difference between any two particular score, definitely your array should be in any particular format. Either it should be in descending format, either it should be in ascending format. So what you have to do, definitely you have to apply sorting over here. So partition dot sort. So once the partition sort is available, what you have to do? So now everything is being sort. Okay, so the last thing actually you have to do, just simply return, okay, the minimum and the maximum value. So since you're partitioning array in sorting format, the first value is minimum element and the last value is the maximum element. So simply partition dot just take partition dot length minus 1, which means I'm taking the last element as well as I'm taking the very first element Simply return. This is the difference between score between the minimum and the maximum value. Now just try to convert this pseudocode into the JavaScript part. Okay, if weights dot length equal to k or k equal to 1, please simply return 0 because I don't have any possible, both minimum and maximum value becomes the same. And then the next step, just declare the partition array. The partition array is new equal to array size the weight of n minus 1, simply iterate the array for I equal to 0, I less than uh, partition, apply the partition formula, partition equal to, okay, weights of I, weights of I plus 1. Now I got a partition array. So once a partition is array available, what you have to do? You have to apply sorting, right? You have to apply apply sorting, apply sorting. So I'm doing ascending operation A minus B. So which means ascending format, okay? Ascending format. Then finally what you have to do? You have to simply return partition dot the last value is a maximum value and the minimum value you have to return. The minimum value is the very first value becomes the minimum value. Just run this program. It will post all the cases. Shall I do summatorial? If I do in summatorial, definitely it will get one edge case. Then I will, okay. Then why the problem? My problem statement is getting failed. Okay. So let's move on to problem statement again. So what they are doing, the score after distributing the marble is sum of cost of all k-bags. Sum of cost of all k-bags. But you're just simply doing the minimum and maximum value for one particular bag, right? So you have to take the summation value. In that case, you have to consider all the partition. So definitely you have to try to iterate k minus 1, because let's say if my partition array is it's like this 1, 3, 4. In that case, you have to consider 1 minus 1 and 2 minus 3. So 1 minus 4 becomes a 4, a 3, and 2 minus 3 is a 1, right? Then the answer would become the 4. Okay. So in that case, what you have to do, you have to simply iterate, okay, till partition dot length minus 1 I plus plus, simply declare one sum value here. Let sum equal to 0, then sum plus plus equal to the partition dot length minus 1 minus I, because every time, so if this is the array, you have to take the very first element and you have to take the last element. On the next item, you have to take the second element and you have to take the second element from the last. So every time you have to take the I element from the beginning and ith element from the last time, ith element from the last side, and minus partition of I. Partition of I. Finally, return sum. Okay. Now I'm just checking against my test case, sample test case. My sample test case is getting passed. I'm doing submit. Again, one more. Wait. Guys, actually, I made a mistake while calculating the sum of the difference between the minimum and maximum weight, right? So what we have to do, instead of calculating the for all the partition, actually you have to iterate array for the k minus 1 size, because like you are taking the very first element and the very last from the element from the end, as well as you are taking the second element from the beginning and the second element from the last. So definitely you have to iterate the array from the k minus 1 size. So actually, if you submit this code, definitely it will get passed. Apart from the k minus 1, actually I'm not making any changes over to that, so it will pass for all the test case. Now coming to the last segment of this video, the space complexity and time and space complexity. So let's move on to calculate the space complexity at very first. Okay, while calculating the space complexity, I always one question to you: did I creating any array as set or as map? If yes, then definitely you have to consider that the particular space. Yes, I'm creating the array here for the size of weight array. So definitely the space complexity would be O of n, where n stands for the size of the weight array, and the time complexity would be the very first time actually I am iterating the all the values in a weight array. So it would become it will take O of n, as well as the sorting take O of n log n, as well as this part take O of k. So the time complexity would become O of n plus O of k plus O of n log n. In worst case, you have to consider about, while considering the worst case, definitely you have to remove the constant. You have to consider the highest values. So which one is the highest one? Which one is the maximum value? O of n log n, right? So definitely your the time complexity would be O of n log n. Guys, thanks for watching this one. I hope everyone now clear about this art test case, right? So please try to solve this in problem in the LeetCode. Once you solve the problem, please give your comments. It will be more lot for me, as well as if anyone having the doubt or clarification, please do your comment. I will try to reply you each and every one. Guys, if you want any separate playlist, please do your comments. I will create a separate playlist for any particular topics in a DSA. So thanks for watching this one. Thanks for stick with me till the end. I will meet you on tomorrow. Thank you, guys. இந்த டைம் கரெக்டா பண்ணிட்டேன்.